Greetings and welcome to my grassroots series. I'm Dugout Man and we are currently manager of Sandbach United, and as you can see I've got the league table up just to let you know how things are going, and if you watch my highlights package you will know that we've recently gone through a very good run and suffered just one defeat in recent times, and we're sitting pretty at the top of the league at the moment. 3 points clear at the top, but still plenty of games to go. Nine more games to go, and we're going to cover a few of those games today, and then we'll bring the conclusion of the season later on in another episode. So, if you remember, last time we live commed the game, it was against Street where we won 5-0. That was a little bonus cup game at the end of that particular episode. And since then we have continued our winning ways. We've lost once to Burscough in the cup and to West Ibury and Chorlton in the league. But otherwise it's wins all the way, including some very difficult teams who, for example, Ellesmere Rangers had already beaten us. And Abbey Hay had already beaten us in the league this season, so it was great to get ourselves revenge on those two teams and see ourselves at the top of the league with 9 games to go is pretty cool. So I've started the game already, but I forgot to tell you what the team was. So here we go. We've got Johnson on the right with Papril, Jenkinson and the left back, playing left back, believe it or not. With Deitch in goal, that's our defence. Then Elliott, who will come to in a sec, Grant, Lucky Lou and Prudo on the wing, with Knight and Dan Smith, our Caius Metz replacement, is up front. So Elliott is a player. I said we didn't need to sign any more players for this season, but when I saw this guy, I just felt like he would be really useful to us. He doesn't play in the position we wanted to yet, although we've started training him and he's making rapid progress already. He will be hopefully natural by next season in this midfield right position. But he's got 12 crossing, a good first touch, his passing's good, his pace is okay. So I'm quite hopeful that Jordan Elliott will be a valuable addition to our squad. He's played a few games already and done quite well. Here's our Caius Metz replacement, and he seems to be doing very well. He's scored 10 goals since his arrival at the club in 12 starts and 2 substitute appearances, so pretty good conversion rate and certainly proving an adequate backup for Lee Knight, who has taken over responsibility of a main goal scorer. 20 goals already this season for him, 14 in the league, 6 in the cup. So very excited with the form that we're in, and we just hope that we don't see any relapses or slip-ups today like we saw earlier in the episodes. So Grant picks up the ball in midfield and finds Lee Knight. Grant to Lee Knight again. Lee Knight is blocked. Elliott picks up the ball with his cross, and there was a shot. Now I've been kicked off out of my room today. I've got a poorly wife at home, so I haven't got the benefit of the big screen, and so it's going to be hard to pick up exactly what's going on. As Prudo picks the ball on the wings, and Lee Knight running in. He scored so many goals like that this season, but sadly not that time. Johnson taking a free kick, swings it in. Dan Smith at the back post, can't get to it. Now Holland breaks away. Wythenshawe Town are a good side, and we can't take them lightly. But they've lost the ball, and Lee Knight breaks. He swings across to Dan Smith, who may have been offside. He slots it home. It looks like it's going to count. So Smith scores. And, Caius Metz is just a distant memory, as Knight and Smith between them have been scoring goals for fun. And that was another good link-up between two players who have developed a good partnership. And as Smith slots home, that's 1-0 to Sandbach United. As time ticks away and we come towards the end of the half. And that is half-time. 1-0, we've had 11 shots, not many of them deemed worthy of a highlight, but we'll take that. 11 shots to 3. I'm going to suggest we guard against complacency, and the left back is looking a little bit stressed with that, so I just wonder if we'll bring Dan Williams on if my computer will allow me. We don't want any stressed players on there. No panicking. Oh, and it's been given away by Lucky Lou. Dan Williams and Prudo are guarding that left side. And now on the counter-attack, Dan Williams shows a little bit of pace and a shot. A bit of dodgy handling by the keeper. It earns us a corner. As Elliott swings the corner in, the keeper deals with it quite well. So Wythenshawe Town have picked up a couple of bookings, which is always to our advantage. And an hour in, we'll look at making maybe one more substitution. So Lucky Lou's had a little bit of an issue today, so we'll bring Dean Atkinson on to replace him and see whether that improves things in the centre. So Foden Hudson swing the ball in and Weir scores a goal. That is a little bit worrying. We will try and force the issue, go on to attacking immediately after we make a change, and now we're looking like we're in trouble. It was a good cross to the far post. As soon as it was allowed to bounce, the writing was on the wall, and that was always going to be a goal. So Kavanagh picks up the ball. It's a long ball forward, which Williams collects, and Jenkinson plays back to the keeper, Deitch, who's been doing very well in goal lately. He was demanding a run of games, so I've given him a run of games. He's happy again now, but he's keeping clean sheet after clean sheet as Greenwood has hacked down his man. I highlighted earlier that yellow cards were an issue for them, and now they're down to 10 men. So Williams to Smith. Ball towards Knight. Prudo picks up the ball. He's out of position, really, the left winger, but Elliott on the right swings it across. Smith with the first time volley, and then the rebound comes straight back to him, and Dan Smith gets his second of the game. 2-1 to Sandbach United. Prudo was completely out of position there, but he found Grant, who sprayed it out wide, which is exactly what we want this playmaker to be doing. First shot for Dan Smith was a good volley, but straight at the defender, and the second effort from him was perfectly placed at the near post. And back we come again. We're still on attacking, and the ball swung in as Knight places it home, 3-0, and now the game is in our hands now, so we've dropped back to cautious for the last 15 minutes. We'll give it 5 more minutes, and then we'll look at making one more change just to freshen things up. But a lovely header from Lee Knight. That is what he seems to have been doing all season long. So here we go. We'll make that final change and just look at the conditions of people. Who do we want to change? We haven't got a single centre back. That's pretty poor planning from the manager. Don't know what he was thinking, but I think probably what we'll do is take the left winger off Prudo. He's had a reasonable game, and we'll allow Fuller 10 minutes. Fuller is a really good winger, so I'm quite happy to make that change. As Williams swings in a free kick, it wasn't near anybody, but Elliott has picked up the ball outside of the area and placed it perfectly in at the far post, and that is 4-1. And this has been fairly comprehensive. I was a little bit worried when Wythenshawe Town equalised, but Knight's layoff to Elliott and his placement is perfect. 4-1. That is excellent performance again, and every win takes us a little bit closer to promotion. As we break off with another attack, Dan Smith on for a hat-trick. Can he put it in? He can. And that is an excellent hat-trick from a player who is proving to be quite a find, especially after we lost Caius Metz, our star striker. Dan Smith has come in and probably carried on exactly where Caius Metz left off. A superb hat-trick today. 5-1. We have to say we were predicted to be finishing nearer the relegation battle than promotion, so to be sat at the top of the league at this stage of the season is really exciting. We've had to put a team together very quickly, and as we go close again, we've put a team together, and it's been really difficult to keep everybody happy in the squad. There's a lot of moaning about players who feel they should be playing, but it's mainly because they're all signed as star players and they very quickly find themselves as fringe players. But every player who I put in seems to do a job. The tactic seems to be working perfectly, and hopefully this team will not need too much messing about with for the next division. We've played several teams in the cups who are from a higher tier than what we're in, and you know we've only been knocked out of one of the cups, so our progress has been pretty good, and we can be quite excited about where we're going with this team. So we're going to be passionate about a win like that because that was a magnificent win, and so we're still 3 points clear at the top. Apologies if my banging around, just not the microphone, but we're still 3 points clear at the top, but we are now played a game extra, but we are now 8 points clear of Abbey Hay and 10 points clear of Camel Laird, and hopefully we'll be able to move on to the next match and move a little bit closer to that guaranteed promotion. So I'll see you in a few moments. So here we are today for the Build Base FA Vars 5th round tie with Barton Town. Barton Town are a slightly bigger club than us, I believe, but we've still got a great chance today. I've gone with a few experienced heads in the team and also rotated a little bit. So the fullback Baker, now he's a player who isn't really highly rated at all, but he seems to have been played well when I've used him in a couple of occasions I've used him. So we're going to give him a go today in the cup with Naylor in goal, Papril Jenkinson and the left back. Elliot, Shuker as a playmaker, Hogg, who has been playing okay, but he's struggled to get in the side. He's 37 years old, he's our captain, but he's struggled to get in the side because of the way other players have been playing. Then we've got Fuller out on the wing. Sean Ray's going to come in today for another opportunity to show what he can do, and we'll keep Dan Smith up top. So as the game kicks off, it's quite a novel experience for us having a home cup tie. I think we've only had one home cup tie in about 8 games that we've played all season, maybe even more than that. We've been away nearly all the time, so it's nice to have a home game. It's against a difficult side, and with a complete absence of highlights. Because we're against a bigger team, I might just drop it back to cautious just to see whether we can get hold of the ball a little bit. It looks like at the moment the first highlight is going to go to Barton Town, unless we can sneak it and catch them on their counter-attack. Papril whacks the ball upfield. Hogg picks out Fuller, and the ball goes to nobody. Cartwright, the Barton Town goalkeeper, will hoof the ball upfield. Baker wins the header. Elliot picks it up. Elliot's on a yellow card, but uses his pace. Puts the ball in for Dan Smith, who misses an absolute sitter, but that was a superb cross. So we've made it to half time and everything's going okay. I suggest we've been the better team and that they can all improve and that I have faith. And with the tactics, I noticed that Barton have gone to a more cautious mentality, so we'll try and counter that with piling a bit of pressure on them and going more positive. Straight from the kickoff as a highlight, whether that means that there's nothing going to happen, I don't know. We shall wait and see as Cartwright has a ball. The long ball forward. Hall has loads of space, nobody's closing him down. Shuker is just trying to hold them off, but they've picked out Busby on the wing and he's put in the perfect cross for Rose, and Barton Town take the lead within less than a minute of the second half kicking off. It was a great long ball out to the wing and well put in, and perhaps moving more positive was a bad idea. Naylor beat it at his near post. All in all, very disappointing. Barton have had 4 shots and every single one's been on target. That's a little worrying, that. So, at this stage, we need to make some changes because nothing is happening. Ashley Fuller can come off. Lewis Hoggs had a terrible game, so he can come off for Dean Atkinson. Do we make one more as well? Yeah, let's completely shake up the midfield and get rid of Shuka as well. And hopefully we can get something out of the game. So Grant picks up the ball and Prudo to Jenkinson. And the ball's gone through. Dan Smith is away. And he's missed the target. We're going to try to focus down the left and the right and hit early crosses. See if we can catch them. The ball through the middle is working, but the finishing just doesn't seem right. So perhaps we need to get one of these strikers heading the ball into the goal rather than running onto the ball and trying to score. That's my thought process behind it. Anyway, we've actually had more shots than them, but failed to hit the target, except for once, and they've hit the target every time they've had a shot. Elliott picks the ball on the wing, can't get the cross in, but Baker puts in a delicious ball, and Dan Smith with the header straight at Cartwright, the keeper. I think he might have been offside anyway, so we won't get too excited about it, but that was a great ball in by Baker. The left back to Prudo, to Smith to the left back, working the triangles well. Prudo, the left back swings the ball in. Ray has now missed, but he's also offside, and we're going to have to pull the players back just a touch because they are getting caught offside way too much. So we move to balanced. It's probably counterproductive when you're losing 1-0 with 10 minutes to go. Time is ticking away. It's getting a little bit serious now. Last throw of the dice has got to be. So we've gone very long ball and defensive. Hopefully the idea is we'll get the ball and launch it forward, but it didn't work. We are out of the cup. It's not the end of the world. We want to focus on the league, but I'm a little bit disappointed because we should have beaten that team. But there we go. We can't win every game, and I'm not sure that might even be the first live com that we've lost. Barton Town, well done. Lewis Road, it was a good goal. And what I'll do now is shoot forward to the next game, and we'll play one more game in the league, and that'll be it for today's episode. So I've just brought you back for a couple of seconds just to let you know that a couple of our players have been offered contracts at different clubs. So both of them are fairly aged players, so I'm not going to fight too hard to keep them. Hopefully Campana in particular will choose to stay, although we do have plenty of cover in that position. But Campana is subject to free transfer bids, as is captain. Lewis Hogg is again under free bids again for him. But he's 37 years old, and so again we've got plenty of cover for the position he's in. So again, I'm not going to try and offer him a new contract. I know for a fact that our board are not allowing me to offer contracts more than £25 per match, which both of these players will be on more. So if they go, we won't be able to sign anybody any better anyway. So it's just the way that it is in this lower league with the board not allowing us to spend the money that we were at the start of the season. I think we managed to get the team up and running, and now we've just got to keep hoping that we get good youth intakes and come across the odd little player who's going to bolster what is already what I think a very good and very strong squad at this level. So welcome back, and here we go against Echo Soul for our final match of the episode. We're going to play with Smith and Knight up front, with Prudo on the left, Elliott on the right, Grant and Dean Atkinson in midfield. I will change Dean Atkinson to the central midfield attack, which he prefers. The left back, Jenkinson, Paparil and Nash and Dutch in goal. Yeah, we're giving Ryan Nash a run out. He's not played many games recently, but he does a decent job when he's there. He prefers to be a little bit further up the field, if I'm honest, but there's no way he's going to replace Jordan Elliott at the moment. The assistant manager was really harsh with the team talk then, telling them that they should improve from last time. I don't think we played too bad, to be honest. So we are on 3D highlights, but I think that for the next episode, as Dan Smith breaks through and scores, Dan Smith continues 14 goals for the season, and considering he's played less than half a season for us, I think that's quite an incredible return from Dan Smith. And Jenkinson with the long ball, which Lee Knight flicked on the header, and Dan Smith applies the finish. That's a great start, 2 minutes in, 1-0 up. But yeah, thinking of going back to 2D highlights. My computer doesn't handle a 3D too well. I think probably for the live comms and that 2D will probably be the way that we go. As we survive a scare with a free kick, but it's not over yet as Ben Smith brings the ball back into the far post and Baker scores. Michael Baker, of course, this is his first goal ever, and he scores it against us, and that's 1-1. It was a good ball, in fairness, from the wing to the far post, and a left-footed volley. So we were hoping for a nice, comfortable win again today. It doesn't appear that we're going to get that at 1-1. But we're only 10 minutes gone. There's plenty of time for this game to develop. Papril with a long ball forward. Knight picks it up. Good control. Picks out Elliott, who puts in a superb ball. Dan Smith has flicked on the header and is onside. That is 2-1, and already Dan Smith has 2 goals in this game. We're not even 12 minutes in, and there are goals every time there's a shot at the moment. So a lovely ball in. The TV couldn't keep up with the ball as Dan Smith flicks the header in. 2-1. Sandbach United. So 2 minutes and 12 minutes. If he keeps up a goal every 10 minutes, I'll be very happy. So all of a sudden the highlights seem to have dried up. But while we're winning, we're happy for highlights to not be existing. As Eccleshaw bring the ball forward now. Very often this can mean it's an attack for us because we're playing counter-attacking. But we have to roll with it and just hope that it isn't. As Reynolds picks up the ball, we've won it back. Here's Prudo. He's found Dean Atkinson, who sprays the ball out wide to Dan Smith. Is he going to go all the way for his hat-trick, or will he lay it off? He waits for somebody. Nobody comes. So he takes a shot, and it's just wide. That was a good effort, considering the lack of support that he had. A corner for Eccleshaw. Has come out to Dan Smith again. He's got one player forward, Lee Knight. He's going all the way at the moment. Nobody's stopping him. Oh, that would have been an incredible goal. Still 2-1. The highlights are coming thick and fast again now as Prudo picks up the ball on the left wing. He's got a player with him, but the left back puts the ball in, and I think it's Lee Knight has got it. Yes, Lee Knight has picked up the cross and slotted it home. 3-1 Sandbach United. It was Prudo's work on the left. He booted it against the marker that he had, and Knight wins the header. He seems to be much better in the air than what his stats really suggest. I think he's an 8 for heading, but he seems to always be scoring head. So another highlight straight away. We're half an hour in. It's been an exceptional game. I mean, you can shoot like that, Summerfield, all day long. Apparently it's a corner. And the corner comes in. Falconbridge on the outside of the area puts it to Hill. And we've got it clear. Prudo Smith holds it up, and that's the end of the highlight. A free kick which Elliott swings in, and Roberts catches. Will eventually kick it out, I'm sure. Falconbridge has got past his man. But we've made a good tackle, and that means that Knight can bring the breakaway. As Dan Smith all on his own again, but it doesn't seem to faze him at any time. But every time he's done well like that against many defenders, he's then put it wide of that right-hand post. And his finishing has been a bit disappointing since getting that second goal. As we come towards half-time, there's no time for any more highlights, and that will do very nicely. 11 shots to 3, 5 on target to 3, a 3-1 lead. But again, it's not guaranteed that we'll win this. But I think that I can say we're very happy. Let's just hope that they don't get complacent because of that. We'll leave the team as it is, and hopefully we can. Now we've been hitting them on the counter attack, so I might just drop it back one, just to give us a little bit more stability at the back, and hopefully, Dan Smith is tearing them apart at the other end. So realistically, if we can just keep the defence tight, then I'm sure that everything will come forward. And the second half has not been quite as interesting as the first half. Not a single highlight yet, and we're 70 minutes in, and though Elliott swings in a free kick, and I think we've been given a penalty, and Dan Smith takes the penalty for his hat-trick. I wasn't quite sure what had happened then, but it was a penalty. Dan Smith has scored it. Usually Lee Knight takes a penalty, so that's an interesting development. They've obviously, because he's on his hat-trick, let him have a go. And he scored it, tucked it away, 4-1. And I think we can safely say that we're staying top of the league quite comfortably. And we've just got to hope now for New Mills to slip up so that we can have a bigger lead and not have to worry about the teams behind us as much. Time is ticking away. I haven't made a single sub in this game. That's really not like me. But we just haven't needed it, to be honest. There is chance for one more attack. Scott brings it forward for Ecclesall, and he's fired it wide. As we come to the end of another fantastic game, Smith swings in a free kick, and they've hit the post. But it was a foul anyway, so we're okay. Well past the time. I'm expecting the final whistle to go any second. I'm hoping the final whistle goes any second, because in the last few minutes of the match, we have been giving them chances aplenty, and perhaps a team shout would have been required just to tie it up. But surely that must be it now. Yes, there goes the final whistle. 3 goals for Dan Smith in a 4-1 victory. Lee Knight also playing really well. I think we could be exceptionally happy with that. Look at that, 2 nines, 9 pluses for our strikers. Shows how good a game that they've had. I'm very happy with the way you've played, and we've got to recognise the 2 strikers. So, passionately, I'm very happy with your performance today. I'm very happy for your performance today. Your performance was very good. And as we wait for the other results to come in, we'll just be hoping that the teams around us slip up. And then we'll go into our next and probably final episode of the season, quite comfortable in the fact that we're promoted to the next division, which we'll have a look at in the next one. I don't want to tempt fate by looking at it too soon. But yeah, New Mills didn't slip up. Abbey Hay have only managed 3 points from 2 games. They had a game in hand. They've now got the same amount of games as us, and so we're now 8 points clear of them, and that is a pretty good cushion for helping us, because there's only 7 games left. So that's quite interesting, and I'm quite happy with the way things are going. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Like I say, we'll move to 2D for the next one. Maybe my computer will cope a little better with that. And yeah, so quite excited with the way things are going. We've still got Hogg and Campana with us at the moment, but Hogg, I have actually offered him a contract because I remembered rather belatedly after recording a little bit about him having transfer offers that actually we signed players like him not necessarily to stay as players, but also to become a part of the backroom staff. So he wanted a role as an under-18s coach, but he's actually better than all of our coaches. But I have offered him an under-18 coach's role just because I know they're available at the moment. And then when it comes to the end of the season and contracts are running out, we might be able to offer him an actual coaching role and not worry about not being able to sign him and losing him to another team. But we'll see how all that works out. But at the moment, as an under-18s coach, he'd be, pretty valuable to the club. And hopefully, as he develops his affinity for Sandbach United, then we can move him into a more senior role in the club. But yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and look forward to seeing you again soon. I'm Dugout Man. I'll see you again soon.